All right, so good morning and welcome to the Make It Sacred Challenge. My name is Elizabeth Foley. I'm an artist and a creative catalyst. I help women get in touch with their creativity and commit to their creative practices. So, we are here this week talking about weaving together our spiritual and creative practices and learning how to make them a part of our life. So, each day we've been focusing on a different theme. Today's theme is it's about being gentle with ourselves, softening the voice of the inner critic so that we feel like we can create. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Just to go over a couple logistics. This is the kind of creativity you can do with whatever you've got. I will be using, where's my watercolor paper? It disappeared with my prizes there. Watercolor paper. I think I might use some watercolors today. I've got some earth elements I'm going to incorporate today. And probably my trusty Tombow markers and some Sharpie and some spray bottles. So I think that's what I'm going to be up to today. You're always welcome to join me in what I'm doing, follow along, copy it, and you can also just make it your own. And you can use this time as time set aside to be in community creating together and to follow what's in your heart. Let's see, we'll be together creating for about 30 minutes. And stay all the way to the end and you'll get to see who wins today's prizes. And then also, I was telling people before we started recording, make sure you come on Friday because I have extra special treats and prizes and all kinds of fun things on Friday. So let's go ahead and dive into our practice today. And for those of you who have been joining me the other days or worked with me before, you know that before I dive into creative practice, I like to take a moment to tune inward. And this is really one of the primary ways that I weave together my creativity with my spirituality, is taking this moment to close my eyes, tune inward, so that I'm coming from a place of presence and a place of listening. And not coming with all of the other things that have been going on with me the day or the evening before. So I'm going to invite you now with me to just close your eyes for a moment and just allow your attention to settle on your breath. Just bringing all your awareness to noticing your breath and letting yourself land here in this moment. Feeling your breath as it's going in and out of your body. Noticing your chest as it's rising and falling. And noticing how your breath feels as it's passing in and out of your nostrils. Just feeling your breath passing over your upper lip. And now noticing anything that's been happening before this moment, anything that's weighing on you or keeping you from being fully present. Let's take a deep breath in together. And as we exhale, just letting that go. And now noticing anything that's coming in the future, anything you're worried about or nervous about. Let's take a deep breath in together. And as we exhale, just letting that go. And now let's take one more deep breath together, breathing in this moment, right here, right now. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. All right, I'm ready to get started. So today, I want to talk a little more about weaving sacred practice together with creative practice. And I also want to talk about being gentle with ourselves. When we think about committing to a creative practice or even really getting started with a creative practice, I find that one of the biggest things that takes us out is our own mind, right? Our fears, the voice of our inner critic. All of that takes us out sometimes before we even get started. So if we want to make space for creativity in our life, we've got to be conscious of that and start learning how to soften that voice. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. And I also wanted to bring in another element of making a moment sacred that I like to do. So what I have today, I have a cute little mini portable altar here. So I have a candle, and I've got, we're going to use this in our practice, this piece of charcoal. And I've got some water here. This is actually rainwater that I fill this with. Sometimes I like to use things like, you could use holy water or seawater or something like that. I have some salt here, and then I have a feather. So you don't need to have any of these things, but I just wanted to have a little bit of kind of a little sacred altar here right with me while I'm creating, and some elements of the earth. So as we're setting our intention today, which is another place that I always start with when I want to make creativity a sacred moment, I'm also going to light my candle with intention. So today we're talking about how we can soften the voice of the critic. So as we're getting started and writing our intention on our paper, I'm inviting you to make your intention something around that. Maybe it's my intention is to learn how I can soften the voice of the critic. Maybe it's to learn how can I be gentler on myself? How can I love myself more? How can I believe in my creativity more? Whatever is resonating for you around that topic of being gentle with yourself and finding that belief in yourself and the value of the time spent in creativity. So I'm going to invite you to write your intention down, and I think today I'm actually going to write it, kind of want my intention today to blend a little into the background, so I'm going to write it with a watercolor marker. And I think I am going to write, show me how to be gentler with myself. And just to show you how I'm writing my intention, I'm writing it like big. Can you see the yellow? Yeah. I'm writing it big and just covering my page with it. That's what I'm doing. And then also while I'm doing that, I'm going to go ahead and light this candle. And you know, I like to just bring intention into everything. So I even have this like fun pack of matches that a really good friend of mine gave me. So I'm like bringing in that idea of friendship and support with my intention. Uh-oh. The match is going out. There we go. Just kind of saying a prayer while I light that candle that we can all be gentler with ourselves. All right. So we've got our intention set, we've got like our sacred space held, and now we're ready for the what's next. So if you've been joining me, you know that I always like to use an inspirational quote to inspire what we're working on today. So I'm going to put today's quote in the chat box, and I will also read it to you now. The quote is, "The grace to be a beginner is always the best prayer for an artist," by one of my favorites, Julia Cameron. She's the author of The Artist's Way. I quote her a lot. So anyway, I'll read it again. The grace to be a beginner is always the best prayer for an artist. I really like that because we are here talking about making a moment sacred and making this moment of creativity a prayer. And it ties into that piece about being more gentle with ourselves. Thanks, Beth. Beth says she likes the quote. I do too. So we've got our intention, and what I just, you know, when I was thinking about that quote and getting inspired about creating with that, what really was coming to mind for me was being a beginner. And just when I think about being a beginner with art, I think about just playing and having fun. And so that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to go ahead and move the camera down so that you can see what I'm up to. So let's go ahead and start creating. So I've got with me today a little different, some watercolors. And I'm going to be using those and that spray bottle I showed you, and probably my watercolor brush. So I'm just going to play. I'm just going to put some color on this page right now. And I've got my intention written here in this watercolor marker. So I'm thinking that it'll probably like blend in a little. Yeah. We'll see what happens. We were talking about this the other day, that for me a big part of how a moment becomes sacred, especially a moment with creativity, is really about that, your intention for it to be so. So as you're doing whatever you're doing, whether it's following along with me or doing your own practice, just inviting you into that place of presence and mindfulness about this becoming a sacred moment. Tuning into that intention of how you can be gentler with yourself. The other thing I want to do today is just bring in some of these earth elements that I have. So I have some salt here, and it can be fun to put salt on paint. These are really big chunks of salt. I'm not sure how much that's going to do, but sometimes it does a really cool pattern of resist. So I might need to get a little more paint on there to really make it work. It's a good example of a time to be gentle with yourself. You know, that like did not go as I had sort of planned and hoped, but that's okay. Just, you know, seeing what's next. Just being okay with whatever happens. It's a way to be more gentle with yourself. There, I'm going to bring this element in. This is my rainwater here. If you use water from the sea, like salt water, ocean water, you'll have it's kind of a salt resist effect there as well. So I really want to bring a piece of each of these elements into my piece today. And so I'm going to try to make some, I'm going to use the feathers to draw in and maybe make some lines or something with it. Maybe spread the paint around. If this was acrylic, I wouldn't do this because I don't want paint all over my feather, but since it's watercolor, it should wash out of the feather. It looks kind of cool. So I'm just really inviting you into this space of like play and being interested in what emerges rather than being in control of it or having some preconceived idea. Oh, I really like what this is doing. It's cool. And then my other piece that I wanted to bring in is some charcoal. This I actually took from a fire that I had. And what am I going to do with this? I have no idea what this is going to do over the watercolor. So yeah. I'm going to do like some circles. Okay, well, it's one of those moments where I liked it better before. So I'm really demonstrating here how to be gentler with myself, right? There's definitely this piece of me that's like, oh, you should have stopped a while ago. So just be with it a little bit more. So I'd love to hear about what you're creating today. Are you following along with me? Are you doing something on your own? What are you up to out there? Oh, I like that color a lot. Lisa says she's in a relaxation theme. Oh, I love that. That's great. That goes along well with the idea of just being gentler with ourselves, right? So one thing that I like to do when I'm creating like this is to keep coming back to that inquiry, that intention of, in this case, it was show me how to be gentler with myself, and like asking what I'm making, if there's any sort of message for me um, about that intention. So for example, I feel like something that I'm getting from this piece is that moment where like I didn't like it, and now I'm kind of moving back into a place of liking it again. So it's like the message is sort of like keep going through those moments. Like, you know, there's this tendency to be really hard on ourselves in those moments and to think we're not good enough or we should stop or something like that. So the invitation that I'm getting from my work, show me, and in relation to that, show me how to be gentler with myself, is like, just keep going. Oh, I love that idea. Lily says, when I watch the replay, I can photograph my art before I did the charcoal. That's a great idea. I love that. That's a great thing. It's like, that's a great message too. It's like, you know, keep going. And there's also all these other fun tools that we have to like capture things along the way. Messages, take pictures of your artwork along the way. I love hearing what you all are up to. If you are entering into a play space with this, another fun thing that you can add to your piece is alcohol. I have a spray bottle with alcohol. I don't think I'm going to use it today, but if you have some, just like rubbing alcohol, it's a super fun effect that it has. Feather's getting pretty wet here. Well, we are already getting to the end of our time today. It goes by so quickly sometimes, doesn't it? So I am just gonna, I want to fill up these like white patches here. And then I think what I'm gonna do today is write the quote. Ooh, that's pretty. All right, I think I just need a little bit more blue. Colleen, I love that you paint with a light. That's beautiful. I'm glad that this is inspiring you to get outdoors. You know, I have a friend who's a photographer, and sometimes we'll just, you know, in the middle of just like hanging out, she's like, oh, the light, we have to go take pictures right now, the light. You know, for those of you who don't have a feather but are liking this effect, think about like what else that you have around that you could use to move paint that's like not a typical brush. Or even just a dry brush could have a similar effect. Got a little muddy in there. Love that. Nancy says she likes to watch me play with a feather. Awesome. So I'm just kind of trying to dry this out a little bit. I want to put the quote on here. It's going to be difficult with the wet paint. I think if I'm going to put it on now, I'm going to have to do it with some other paint. So I'm going to use some, acrylic paint actually, because that'll go over my wet paint. Sorry, I know I'm busting out all these different supplies today, but you can use whatever you have. Okay, so I'm putting the quote in again, just because I need to be able to see it to get it written. Let's see. The grace to be a beginner is always the best prayer for an artist. How am I going to do this? I feel like one of the trickiest things with writing stuff on a page like this is getting the spacing right. See what I mean? Spacing. We're going to just leave this one at this today. I kind of like how that got cut off like that, actually. If I had more time, I probably would have just waited for my paint to dry and written that in Sharpie, because it's a little easier to control. It can be kind of hard to write in paint, but I kind of like how it forced me to really, you know, embrace that attitude of being a beginner and being gentle with myself. You know, when there's that moment of being like, oh, I didn't plan ahead, it's not all gonna fit. Just, you know, learning to like accept the way that it is, and that maybe it's okay that it didn't all fit. Okay. So I am going to bring the camera back up now, and so we can finish up for today. All right. So I want to thank you all for joining me today and creating with me and creating a community. I love seeing all your comments and y'all having conversations and stuff. I can't keep up with the chats. But yeah, thanks again for being here. I really am looking forward to seeing what you created and hearing about what insights came to you from what you created. So come on over into our Facebook group and join us there and share what you're up to. And the best part, let's do some prizes. So I love doing prizes. It's really exciting. Hey, Bonnie, you're so welcome. It is a great way to start the day, isn't it? With taking that moment to tune inward and, yeah, just have a moment for yourself. All right, so I've got all the names of everybody who was here yesterday, and I said that I was going to pull 2. We had so many problems Monday with people getting on. There's one that, yeah, I wanted to draw 2 today. Okay, so we've got, dun, 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 dun. This is Lisa T. There's a bunch of Lisas that were on yesterday, so if you're not sure if that's you, oh, Lisa T, that's you. Yay, Lisa. Oh, here, go ahead and pick something. Let's see, the journals have been spoken for, and I need to move this. But go ahead and pick something. We've got either of these pieces of original artwork or one of these prints that are of my artwork. Let me know which one you want. And then our second winner from yesterday is Mary L. Are you here today? Julie throws glitter in the air for the winners. Yay, just don't throw glitter in my studio because I don't like it. I'll be honest. I know a lot of people do, but glitter. Maybe if it's contained in like glitter glue or glitter or something. Oh, June, you just got here. That's okay, June, because we will be posting the recording in the group and we'll email it to you too. So sorry that you missed us, but yeah. All right, so Lisa, let me know what you want. You can reach out via email, or if I don't hear from you, I'll reach out to you. And same for Mary L. I don't know if she's here today, but congrats to our winners today. More great prizes tomorrow. And Julie says, glitter is in all of your hair for the rest of the day. Yeah, exactly. That's why I don't like glitter. Anyway, come join us again tomorrow. And then again, we've got really awesome prizes and special things for you coming on Friday. So come Friday too. And thanks again for being here, and can't wait to see what you're creating and hear about your insights in the group. So much love to you all. Have a beautiful day.